Oh, hello. Welcome once again to the wonderful world of video game lore. Today, our lovely podcast producer Eric has very kindly composed a brief summary of the lore of the Sonic the Hedgehog series. What a peach that man is. And I gather he's written it up for us in in-universe chronological order, not game order. Won't this be jolly enlightening? I think that's the word I'm looking for. Anyway, Sonic the Hedgehog, the timeline. Part 1 of 3 and Knuckles. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, Eric, mate, alright? Let's see how this one goes. Sonic Unleashed. Well, I wasn't expecting to start there. In the beginning... very biblical, nice. At the start of time, 2 entities were born from Earth's core. Dark Gaia and Light Gaia. I wonder if they ever get mistaken for each other. And then one of them has to say, "No, you don't understand. I'm not that kind of guy." Dark Gaia awakens every few million years to engulf the planet in darkness, while its counterpart puts the planet together, restoring light and putting both of them back to sleep inside the planet's core. Sounds like me and my wife putting the kids to bed. Oh, and now we jump all the way to Sonic Frontiers. Tens of thousands of years ago, an advanced alien race known as the Ancients... You wonder what they called themselves at the time, don't you? Had their planet destroyed by a mysterious entity called the End. These are all getting a bit on the nose. Whose objective was to destroy all life in the universe and reduce existence to nothing. Their most intelligent tribe used a fleet of spaceships powered by the Chaos Emeralds to escape, but were forced to land on Earth after the stones reacted to the Master Emerald. They made Starfall Islands their home. After finding out the End followed them, well, he didn't have much to do after Metal Gear Solid 3 wrapped, I suppose, the Ancients constructed the Titans to stop it. However, it wasn't enough, so the pilots sealed themselves with the End inside cyberspace. 2 words. The others travelled to the Master Emerald's location with the Chaos Emerald and over time evolved to the little cute things you pet in Sonic Adventure. The Chow. Well, thank goodness we had that background. Sonic Riders Zero Gravity. Oh, for fuck's sake, Eric. Sometime after that, a giant spacecraft called Astral Babylon... I'd buy weed from a bloke called Astral Babylon, malfunctioned and was forced to crash land after ejecting its gravity manipulation devices known as Arcs of the Cosmos. The surviving crew, a high-tech avian race known as the Babylonian, so this was unrelated to historical Babylon? Just checking. Stayed on the planet waiting for the arcs to fall down to the planet's surface. In time, the ship became hidden under a floating city called Babylon Garden. Not terribly well hidden by the sounds of it. And its people became a band of legendary rogues, as they used their technology to develop carpets. Well, I guess you got to walk on something. Oh, with the ability to float. Oh. To collect treasure. Over time, it was said the Babylonians were descendants of genies. Ancestors, surely? Sonic the Hedgehog 3 / Sonic Adventure. 3,000 years ago, the location of the Master Emerald and the Chaos Emeralds... So the Chaos Emeralds came with the Ancients. But the Master Emerald was already on Earth, so where'd the Master Emerald come from? It was just there, just knocking about. The location of the Master Emerald and the Chaos Emeralds, known as the Emerald Shrine... Phew, what a giveaway. Was discovered by an ancient Echidna civilization called the Knuckles Clan. Oh, this is starting to come together. Hoping to expand their tribe, the clan's leader, Pachacamac, set out to steal the emeralds, as he believed it was necessary for the clan's growth. Despite the objections of his daughter, Tikal, Pachacamac assaulted the shrine. Sorry, what specific part of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is this referencing? Because I've played that game. I remember a mushroom forest. Or was that and Knuckles? The slaughter of the Chow living in the shrine awakened the anger of the shrine's guardian, Chaos, which of course is Chow with an S on the end, so more than one Chow, who wiped out most of the civilization overnight. The energy backlash from the Master Emerald caused Angel Island to float in the air, and the few survivors became closer to extinction each century. Chaos became known as the god of destruction. Moving on now to Shadow the Hedgehog / Sonic Battle. 1,000 years later, Black Doom... No mention of a white doom, though. Dropped a structure known as Glyphic Canyon. Around the same period, an ancient unknown civilization created combat robots called Gizoids. Sonic Superstars. Moving on. At some point, the Black Dragon was attacking the North Star Islands. A group of soldiers from the Sun-Gazer lizard civilization united and sealed the beast in the Black Onyx, with subsequent generations being tasked with guarding it. I feel like we're all over the place right now. So far, I'm getting the sense that there's a lot of dark evil things getting shut away and guarded by ancient civilizations, who had little else to do with their time, it seems. Okay, now we're moving on to Shadow the Hedgehog, also Sonic Battle, also Shadow Generations. 50 years ago, Gerald Robotnik, ooh, we know that name, was hired by the President of the United Federation. I'm assuming that's one of those, it's the United States, but we're not actually saying that situations, to work on Project Shadow, a medical research program studying immortality. While reluctant at first, he eventually accepted in order to find a cure for his granddaughter Maria's fatal disease, neuroimmunodeficiency syndrome. Is that a thing? Hang on, I'm going to find out if that's a thing. Oh yeah, it's a thing. A group of disorders where the nervous system and immune system interact abnormally. Oh, and what do you know? One of the first link is to the Sonic Legacy wiki. Both Gerald and Maria Robotnik started living in the space colony AK, where the professor researched many of the ancient civilizations to fulfill his objective, creating the ultimate life form, an immortal being able with a space-time warping ability called Chaos Control. Bit of an oxymoron, isn't it? Controlled chaos. Well, I guess that describes the state of my desk. During his time, he created a replica of the Emerald Shrine from Angel Island in order to study the Chaos Emeralds, which led to the creation of Chaos Drives, a method to supply infinite energy to living tissue and artificial chaos copies of the God of Destruction. God, I hope Chaos the God didn't put a copyright out on his name. He'd be making some fucking bank by this point. During his research, the professor reactivated a Gizoid, a learning robot powered by the Chaos Emeralds. He also made contact with an alien life form called Black Doom. Oh yes, he was the dude who created Glyphic Canyon. Well, it doesn't sound that dangerous, but the guy's called Black Doom, so, you know, kind of gave the game away there, which assisted him with his research in exchange for helping to deliver the 7 Chaos Emeralds. The Bio-Lizard was born from this project, but it wasn't perfect as it required a life support machine. Let's just gloss over the assumption that I know what the Bio-Lizard is. After Black Doom provided his blood for his genetic material, an immortal being was born. Shadow the Hedgehog.
This is who I am.
Well, the is capitalized, so I guess that was actually his middle name. This caused concern in the Earth Defense Force known as the Guardian Units of Nation, or GUN. See, that's one of those cases where they started with the acronym they wanted and then worked backwards, isn't it? They feared Gerald, and after the Gizoid lost control, causing great damage to the Ark facilities, the organization attacked the Ark with the order to kill everybody but Gerald. Before Maria was killed, she was able to eject Shadow to the planet, but the Hedgehog was shortly captured and sealed away, while Gerald prepared his revenge in jail. Moving on. Sonic the Hedgehog 2006, open brackets, deleted timeline, close brackets. That's what you'd want to do to Sonic the Hedgehog 2006, I assume. Next up, chronologically, are some events of Sonic the Hedgehog 2006. After the death of his wife, the King of Soliana decided to research a way to use the power of Solaris, the sun god honoured by the citizens of the country, so he could travel through time and be able to see her again and also correct humanity's past sins. Well, that seems a long way to not have to go to the therapist. Known as the Solaris Project, it became unstable after one of their devices exploded. The blast gravely wounded the king and freed Solaris, splitting it into 2 entities, Iblis, its raw power, and Mephiles, its conscious mind. I presumed it would be pronounced Mephiles because it's sort of a shortening of Mephistopheles, but then I remembered out of nowhere a cutscene from Sonic 2006 where they kept pronouncing it as Mephiles. So that's why my train of thought derailed a bit there.
I'm Mephiles the Dark.
After Shadow the Hedgehog and Silver the Hedgehog arrive from the future, the king gives Shadow the Scepter of Darkness to imprison Mephiles. After Silver paralyzes Iblis with his psychokinetic powers, the Duke uses a Chaos Emerald to seal Iblis within Elise's soul and entrust her to Silver. Before dying, the king tells Elise to always remain strong and to not cry under any circumstances, as Iblis would be set free again. Elise is 7 years old, by the way. Okay, listen carefully, Elise. It is vitally important that at no point do you watch The Land Before Time. Littlefoot's mum buys it, and I'm afraid you'll destroy the fucking world. Part 2. Sonic's origins. Oh, fucking hell. I hope someone was keeping track of all the ancient civilizations that had to be established before that. About 5 of them. Sonic the Hedgehog on the Genesis. Alright, finally. Sonic the Hedgehog is entering the story. It starts on South Island. So, Antarctica? A mysterious place that can't be found on any map as it travels across the sea. Well, so not Antarctica then. Well, what happens if it goes to a place that's not south? What do you say to all the people who are now south of South Island after it moves... Oh, never mind. It is rumoured amongst the locals that the reason behind this phenomenon are the Chaos Emeralds, 6 gemstones that hold incredible power and can give energy to all living beings. Their location remains a mystery for the people living on the island. The mad genius, Dr. Eggman, also known as Ivo Robotnik, guess he's just one of those people who got really attached to their high school nickname, learns about the stone's existence and plans to harness their power for his creations. After setting up a base in a corner of the island, he starts kidnapping animals to use as batteries for his mechanical army in order to scout out the Chaos Emeralds. Well, we learned nothing from the Matrix, apparently. I'm pretty sure kidnapped bunnies are less efficient batteries than just, batteries. It doesn't take long for Sonic the Hedgehog to find out about Eggman's intentions, wasting no time. Eric, you promised you'd tell us Sonic's origins. He's just there. A dude who happens to be there. Was he born? Was he conjured from void? Was he an amalgamation of ultimate life forms left to sleep by a civilization from thousands of years previously in order to be the most awesome life form? We need to know these things. Anyway, it doesn't take long for Sonic the Hedgehog, whoever that is, to find out about Eggman's intentions. Wasting no time, Sonic runs across the island freeing the animals, gathering the Chaos Emeralds, and reaching Eggman's base, Scrap Brain. After defeating Eggman, Sonic returns to Green Hill with his friends. The collected Chaos Emeralds suddenly move on their own, giving Sonic a vision before leaving. The 6 stones, with the addition of a 7th emerald, are heading up to West Side Island. Okay, who named these islands? Presumably someone who lived in the absolute dead centre of all of them. Tails Adventures. Not located on any map. Boy, the cartographers are really slipping in this world, aren't they? Cocoa Island is a little paradise that is also said to be a resting place of the Chaos Emeralds. This was the home of a fox called Miles Tails Prower, where he was taking a nap just outside his research lab. No mention of when he was taking a nap. He was just permanently taking a nap. It was like, Alucard before Symphony of the Night. He is woken up by a huge explosion that sets the place ablaze, and a panicked Flicky reports to him that Great Battle Cuckoo the 15th has invaded the island with his bird army in search of the Chaos Emeralds, which they plan to use to conquer the world. Tails, who has only known peace, except when he has to take a shit out of his 2 hideously malformed buttholes, sets out to stop them in any way he can. Using a variety of tools and items, he manages to infiltrate their base. Oh man, he's like Solid Snake now. The Battle Fortress, and defeats Great Battle Cuckoo. This causes their ship to sink into the sea, thwarting the bird's plan. Unless, by some miraculous chance, they also possessed the ability to fly. They're never seen or heard from again. Guess not. I guess they were all emus. And farmyard hens. Alright, Sonic the Hedgehog's CD. Oh, I remember this one. Who remembers the music? During 1 month each year, a celestial body called Little Planet appears over the Never Lake. Is it called Never Lake because the bloke who was mapping the region kept taking his girlfriend there and she just would not put out? Does it say something about me? That was where my mind immediately went. It is said time moves freely inside it, as the planetoid is home to 7 mystical gemstones able to control time. These are fittingly called Time Stones. Oh, okay. So you waste our time for 3 hours to tell us how the Chaos Emeralds came about, but you didn't think these were important enough to back up. After learning about it, Dr. Eggman, who does nothing in his life except assemble mythical jewels, anchors Little Planet to a mountain and uses its unique temporal passages to invade its past, using his robot army now powered by flowers. And if there's anything that would be less efficient as a battery even than a small bunny rabbit, yes, I know you can power a clock with a lemon. A robot is not a clock. He turns Little Planet into his own personal fortress. Oblivious to Eggman's plans, Sonic travels to Never Lake to see Little Planet. Surprised by the mechanical wasteland, he quickly realizes it was the work of the Doctor. So he jumps on the chain holding the planetoid and speeds up to its surface. After arriving at Palm Tree Panic, yeah, the guy who named that was in a very specific frame of mind as well, Sonic learns that he must destroy the robots in the past while securing the time stones before Eggman does. Sonic eventually meets Amy Rose, a fan, who has come to Little Planet after predicting an encounter with him there using her tarot cards. Oh, Amy Rose worships Satan. Eggman suddenly intervenes and kidnaps her using his latest invention, Metal Sonic, a robot doppelganger created to counter Sonic's every move. After Sonic reaches Stardust Speedway, he encounters Metal Sonic, who had challenged him to a deadly race.
You might know everything I'm going to do, but that's not going to help you, since I know everything you're going to do. Strange, isn't it?
Sonic defeats his robotic counterpart, frees Amy, and prepares to battle Eggman at Metallic Madness. Sonic emerges victorious, but there is no time to celebrate, as Little Planet's metallic shell begins to crumble. After escaping to Never Lake with Amy, Sonic runs to his next adventure, wanting to spend as little time with Amy as possible in case she sacrifices him to Beelzebub. Sonic the Hedgehog 2! Ooh, I've played this one. Tails was being bullied by other foxes because of his two tails. Well, fuck their shit up. You fucking apparently genocided the birds, but ends up saved by Sonic unintentionally while passing through. What a guy. This inspires Tails, who decides to follow him, and in turn learns how to run faster and fly using his tails as propellers. So Sonic at this point is basically Forrest Gump in the bit where he's running back and forth across the land. Sonic was on his way to West Side Island, yeah, I remember that, where according to legend another ancient civilization prospered until they misused mysterious stones that led to their downfall. These stones are said to be the Chaos Emeralds. Unknown to Sonic, he was being followed by Eggman, who was planning to find the Chaos Emeralds to power a space station, the Death Egg. So I assume he'd already built the space station at this point? Man, he was putting a lot of eggs in one basket. Ooh, I didn't even intend that. Eggs in one basket. LOL. After learning this, Sonic decides to stop the Doctor's plans. Both him and Tails journey through the island, defeating Eggman on the way. It's so easy, they don't even bother dwelling on it anymore. They eventually use Sonic's airplane, the Tornado. Now hang on, I thought it was Tails' airplane. He's the one who's always piloting it. Man, Tails needs to learn some fucking self-esteem. To reach Eggman's flying wing fortress. After the plane's wings were destroyed, Sonic was forced to board the battleship alone while Tails fixed the Tornado. They reunite shortly after in order to board Eggman's space rocket, leading them to the Death Egg. There, Sonic defeats a new robotic copy called Mecha Sonic. Not quite the same thing as Metal Sonic. Yeah, what is the difference between metal and mecha, do we think? I think metal is when it's made out of processed ore, and mecha is when it's 50 feet tall and destroys Tokyo. And Eggman, who was piloting the Death Egg. A failed final attack from the Doctor sets the Death Egg to explode, falling into Earth's atmosphere and crashing on Angel Island. You know, you could always just build things without self-destruct mechanisms. That's an option. Sonic was able to escape the space station safely as Super Sonic, a transformation he acquired by collecting the 7 Chaos Emeralds while Tails piloted the Tornado. Right, yeah, I assumed we were going with the good ending. Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Eggman survives the crash. I guess he just bounced. And ends up at Hidden Palace Zone where he discovers the Master Emerald. Oh, that's where it was. This giant gem, which keeps the island afloat, instantly catches the Doctor's attention, and he plans to harness its power to relaunch the Death Egg to space. He also meets its guardian, Knuckles the Echidna. Wait, I thought all the Knuckleses were killed by the Chaos Emeralds. There's one Knuckles left, and he decided to spend the rest of his life hanging out with the thing that killed all his mates. Just saying. Maybe this was the sign to go off and go to university or something. Who he tricks into believing Sonic and Tails were the villains that stole the Chaos Emeralds. That's not technically a lie, is it? I mean, Sonic did take the Chaos Emeralds, and I don't recall him paying for them. And that he was just researching the fallen Death Egg. A few days after the crash, Sonic was taking a nap while Tails finished his new invention, the Emerald Detector. After picking up a signal, he heads towards the beach Sonic was resting on. It's just occurred to me that if you set up something called the Emerald Detector in this fucking world, it would just lead in every fucking direction imaginable, wouldn't it? He heads towards the beach Sonic was resting on, but Sonic was already awakened and had spotted a strange ring with ancient inscriptions washed upon shore. After picking it up, Sonic was reminded of a legend of a society that lived in peace and harmony thanks to the power of stones, until their elders attempted to harness their power, leading to their downfall. So they lived in peace and harmony thanks to the power of the stones, but they hadn't yet attempted to harness their power? So what, they just put them all up on a shelf somewhere and said, "Ooh, those look so pretty, we're going to dedicate our lives to peace and harmony now." Driven by a sense of unknown nostalgia, which I think characterizes the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise as a whole, Sonic decides to head to Angel Island. Upon his arrival, Sonic uses the Chaos Emeralds to transform into Super Sonic, but is ambushed by Knuckles, who then takes the emeralds. Well, as you would. Sonic and Tails ran off to follow Knuckles, without knowing they would also be against their arch-nemesis Dr. Eggman. The duo confront Knuckles and the Doctor's forces during their journey, and eventually reach Eggman's launch base, just in time as Eggman was preparing for liftoff after repairing the Death Egg, but the ensuing battle caused it to fall back to Angel Island. And that leads us to Sonic and Knuckles. Sonic and Knuckles. Sonic and Tails land in Mushroom Hill while the Death Egg plummeted to Lava Reef. The duo decide to destroy the Flying Fortress before Eggman can repair it once again. After several battles with Eggman and his army, they arrive at Hidden Palace Zone where they confront Knuckles. Meanwhile, the Doctor takes advantage of the situation and steals the Master Emerald. After the trio witness the event and fails to stop the theft, Knuckles makes amends with Sonic and guides him and Tails to Sky Sanctuary. I think the situation was still a little ambiguous. Maybe Dr. Eggman was taking the Master Emerald off for a polish. You don't know. There, Sonic encounters Mecha Sonic Mark II, yet another powerful robot that resembles his own appearance. In a rush to catch up with Eggman, they defeat the robot without finishing it off, barely managing to board the Death Egg in time. I have a feeling that little detail is going to come back to haunt us. Sonic catches up with Eggman to battle his latest weapon, the giant Eggman Robo, which harnesses the power of the recently stolen Master Emerald. Sonic defeats Eggman, triggering a chain reaction that fully destroys the Death Egg, again. But the Doctor managed to escape aboard a spacecraft called Final Weapon. Good luck getting that through customs, am I right? Sonic transforms into Super Sonic, defeats the machine, and returns to Angel Island with the Master Emerald. While Eggman is gone, Mecha Sonic Mark II plots an attack on the island. He enlists an Egg Robo as his subordinate to ambush Knuckles while he steals the Master Emerald, causing Angel Island to slowly fall from the sky again. Knuckles survives the attack and gives chase to the robots arriving at Sky Sanctuary Zone, where he battles Mecha Sonic Mark II, who is stronger after absorbing the power of the Master Emerald. The Echidna emerges victorious and returns to Angel Island with the Master Emerald, where he puts it in a fucking safety deposit box, as any sensible person would. Sonic 3D Blast. Oh, I remember that one. It was shit. Sometime later, Sonic, Tails and Knuckles were visiting Flicky Island, where according to legend, mysterious gems called the Chaos Emeralds lay dormant. So did Knuckles raise any, questions at this point? Wait, are these the same Chaos Emeralds I dedicated my life to prevent falling into the hands of... Or is this just a new kind of Chaos Emerald? I mean, last we heard the Chaos Emerald, Knuckles was nicking them all back. So did Knuckles just go to Flicky Island and plant them all and then bugger off? And the legend that says the Chaos Emeralds were lying dormant was just him telling Sonic and Tails that that's where he put them? There's no reason that a legend couldn't have been 5 minutes ago, is there? The trio decided to look for the Flickies, strange, rarely seen little birds that were the clue to the gems. But they were not alone, as Eggman was also looking for the birds, to no avail. Suddenly he discovered their secret. A group of Flickies jumped from a giant ring to eat some nuts, and then returned back to it. With the knowledge of birds eating nuts, Eggman crafted a new device to trap the birds inside robots. It was a box with a lid with some nuts in it. Sonic and his friends start a race against Eggman to destroy the robots, save the Flickies, and find the Chaos Emeralds. After a final battle with the scientist's final weapon, not to be confused with the previously mentioned final weapon, perhaps, the Flickies were free and peace returned to Flicky Island. Sonic R. Following that, Sonic and Tails were enjoying some time off, and while planning for a relaxing vacation, okay, I guess it stood for Sonic Relaxing, Tails sees a recruiting ad... Oh, sorry, it stood for Sonic Recruitment. Tails sees a recruiting ad for the World Grand Prix. Sonic wasn't interested in racing. I mean, if you're good at something, never do it for free, Sonic, mate. but ended up joining as the sign mentioned Eggman was participating in the race. But this was a trap from Eggman, as he had learned the location of the Chaos Emeralds and wanted to beat the Hedgehog with his new hovercraft. Oblivious to him, Amy was secretly overhearing the Doctor and decided to join the race to find the Chaos Emerald. Sonic found the Chaos Emeralds and won the World Grand Prix. Congrats, Sonic. Do I detect a note of sarcasm in that part, Eric? Are we both getting a sense that the same beats are getting hit over and over again here? Part 3. A messy transition to the modern era. Oh dear. Sonic Generations. Bit of a jump. In Sonic Generations, a time-manipulating entity known as the Time Eater, they're a time-manipulating entity in the sense that I'm a Cadbury's Cream Egg manipulating entity, I suppose, suddenly appears in the sky over Green Hill Zone. As Sonic looks up at it, everything fades to white. The Hedgehog finds himself in a mysterious void known as the White Space. We need to be keeping track of all the really on-the-nose names for things in this lore. A place where time doesn't exist. While exploring, Sonic ends up in a dark hallway full of mirrors. And never left again because he's an egotistical prick, where he notices a strange reflection of himself. After hearing the voice of Eggman, Sonic rushes to a door where he ends up fighting and defeating the Death Egg robot. As Sonic tries to pull his nemesis from the wreckage, the Time Eater shows up and takes Eggman away. He was pulling him out to give him a damn good talking to, I assume. Sonic then meets an older version of himself and reunites with Tails, who is also accompanied by his older self. Both versions of Tails realise that the Time Eater can go through time, suck the life of various places, and toss them inside the white space. Yeah, I've been sucked off and tossed aside a few times. Eventually, the Hedgehogs learn that the Chaos Emeralds found their way to the white space. Of course they did. So, wait, were these the original ones or the Flicky Island ones? And that the Time Eater is powerless against them. After collecting the emeralds and destroying the Time Eater in their super forms, time resets to normal and returns everyone to Sonic's birthday party in the future. Was that really right after Sonic and Knuckles? Well, who am I to question Eric? Clearly he knows much more about Sonic lore than me. You should all ask him about it. Sonic Mania. We're moving on to... Ooh, steady on. In Sonic Mania, a sudden dimensional breach occurs in Earth's atmosphere. As they do. Where Dr. Eggman detected a unique wave signature coming from Angel Island. He sends his elite robot minion, the Hard-Boiled Heavies, to retrieve it. Oh, because it's an egg reference. I just got that. Sonic and Tails were also following the signal and arrived at Angel Island just as the Hard-Boiled Heavies unearthed the source of the signal, a mysterious gemstone called the Phantom Ruby. Suddenly, the stone activated and warped everybody back to Green Hill. They eventually find and defeat Eggman, who snatches the ruby from the robots and sends them away. Our heroes start pursuing the Doctor around the world, defeating him and the hard-boiled heavies along the way. Eventually they discover that Eggman has his eyes set on Little Planet. Oh, I thought we were done with that. And found Metal Sonic in the process. Ah, yes, Metal Sonic not the same as Mecha Sonic. Metal Sonic's the other one.
Strange, isn't it?
On their way to Little Planet... I'm going to get confused and say Little Big Planet one of these days, I know it. Knuckles gets temporarily separated from the group by the Heavy Magician, but gets back to the action after stopping the Heavy King from stealing the Master Emerald. Sonic and Tails learn that Eggman had seized and mechanized Little Planet once again. Probably just reactivated all the stuff that was already there, right? After a rematch with Metal Sonic, the heroes infiltrate the Doctor's Titanic Monarch, which is different to the Heavy King, even though it means the same thing, to defeat Eggman and the Hard-Boiled Heavies, now converted to Phantom Heavies. Upon Eggman's defeat, he and Sonic get transported to a mysterious dimension created by the Phantom Ruby. The stone then gets claimed by the Phantom King, which starts a struggle between himself and Eggman. Sonic transforms to Super Sonic and manages to defeat both, but after the final blow, the Chaos Emeralds get separated, and Sonic is warped away by the Phantom Ruby. Meanwhile, the little planet vanishes once more. Well, thank goodness for all of that. Maybe let someone else collect the Chaos Emeralds next time. You know, let someone else have the fun. Sonic Forces? Oh no, I hate that game. Sonic suddenly arrives at Sunset Heights, saving a scared and older Tails from a water-like monster. Tails is at first surprised that Sonic is alive, only to notice shortly after that it's a Sonic from another dimension. Okay, wait, are we just... So we've been following, like, the old Sonic from Sonic Generations this whole time, and not current Sonic? Well, now I see why this took so long to write up, Eric. Tails theorizes that Eggman somehow connected both times. As Sonic doesn't speak, he doesn't mention his recent adventure with the Phantom Ruby, or that he was from the past. I mean, sign language is a thing. While travelling on Green Hill, Sonic and Tails find Eggman talking with his ally Infinite about their schemes. They have just finished disposing of the last Phantom Ruby prototype, artificial duplicates of the original with similar powers but also strong restrictions. They also discover the Sonic of this timeline is still alive and that Infinite let him live. After Infinite leaves, to infinity and beyond. Sonic attacks Eggman, who teases that his plan will eliminate everybody in 3 days, putting the heroes on alert. Sonic and Tails return to the Resistance's base, where they encounter the older Sonic. Acting as backup, the younger Sonic helps to defeat Eggman and to destroy the Phantom Ruby, finally returning to his own world. Sonic Mania Plus. Sonic is warped back to Angel Island with the Phantom Ruby, which flies away. Sonic pursues the stone and ends up finding a big capsule with Mighty the Armadillo and Ray the Flying Squirrel trapped inside. After freeing them, the Heavy Magician reveals herself, as she was disguised as one of Sonic's friends. She steals the Phantom Ruby and gives it to the Heavy King, reviving the broken-down hard-boiled Heavies for an encore. Sonic and his friends defeat Eggman once again, but this time the Phantom Ruby collapses, creating a space-time rift that destroys the rebuilt Titanic Monarch. Using the Chaos Emeralds, the heroes manage to escape right on time. Sorry, me. There's no escape that easy. Part 4. Almost the Modern Era. Oh, thank Christ. Sonic the Hedgehog 4, Episode 1. With the Death Egg finally destroyed and the Master Emerald now safe, Sonic decides to take a break and explore new places on his own, preferably somewhere without any fucking emeralds, am I right? Eggman, who had survived the last encounter, started to take measures to defeat the Hedgehog by enhancing his past creations. Sonic starts chasing Eggman after defeating him on Splash Hill, arriving at Mad Gear. Weren't those the baddies for Final Fight? The scientist departed into space, but Sonic was able to reach Eggman's new flying station by using a rocket provided by Tails. At the EGG station... Ooh, let's speculate on what that stands for. Ergonomic Gas Generator. Electric Grizzle Gadget. Endless Gonad Gobbling. Sonic has to face all of Eggman's new creations once more in a final battle against an enhanced Death Egg robot. A defeated Eggman launches another failed final attack that destroys the space station. Man, Eggman must have very reliable suppliers. He probably goes to Costco. Sonic returns safely to Splash Hill and celebrates with his animal friends. Wait. Sonic's an animal himself. Why would he differentiate his friends as his animal friends? Does Sonic not think of himself as an animal? That might explain why he wears shoes, but not so much why he doesn't wear pants. Sonic the Hedgehog 4, Episode 2. Oh, we're not done. Shortly after that, Little Planet reappears. Fucking Christ, it's like Halley's fucking Comet. Once again, allowing Dr. Eggman to proceed with his grand scheme. After Sonic and Tails learn Eggman is back in action, they board the tornado to investigate. Sorry, I'm not fidgeting with this hammer as a vaguely threatening gesture intentionally. Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode Metal. Meanwhile, a severely damaged Metal Sonic was left behind on Little Planet. Eggman shocks Metal Sonic to wake him up and orders the broken robot to reach him at Mad Gear.
Strange!
After Metal Sonic arrives, Eggman repairs and enhances the robot, then gives it the order to once again
Eliminate Sonic.
During his arrival at Lost Labyrinth, Metal Sonic finds a mysterious orb filled with energy that gives it a massive surge of power. When Metal Sonic finally arrives at Splash Hill, he witnesses Sonic and Tails leaving on the tornado, so he uses a rocket to follow them. That famously stealthy vehicle, the Rocket. Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 2. Landing in Sylvania Castle, where the Sylvanian families live, I assume, Sonic and Tails encounter Eggman and defeat him. During their chase at the White Park, where all the racists live, they see Little Planet surrounded by a mechanical shell that is under construction and also discover that Metal Sonic is back and stronger than ever. The heroes infiltrate Sky Fortress and defeat Metal Sonic and Eggman. Yada yada yada. One hardly needs to say it at this point. But the pair of villains escape the crumbling station in a shuttle. Luckily for our heroes, there was another shuttle available. So all Eggman had to do was only build one escape pod, and he would have succeeded in all of his goals from this point forward. Sonic would have been fucking dead forever. Good, I would have said. Good, actually. Which they used to reach Eggman's new base of operations, the Death Egg Mark II. A new Death Egg built around Little Planet. Dyson Sphere style, maybe? Thanks to the power of teamwork, Sonic and Tails triumph over all the challenges that Eggman and Metal Sonic threw at them. The space station explodes, Sonic and Tails were barely able to find a shuttle to escape, and the now deactivated Death Egg Mark II drifted away into the depths of space. With the cancellation of Episode 3, this story never reached its end. Oh, can I take a wild guess? Dr. Eggman survived and came back. Was I close? Sonic Superstars, again. Sometime later, Dr. Eggman and Fang the Hunter Guess they met on Craigslist or something. Travelled to the North Star Islands. Okay, so we've got South Island, the West Side Island, and now the North Star Islands. Now all we need is Easter Island to exist in this universe, and we've covered the whole shebang. The North Star Islands, an uncharted archipelago known for their giant animals. The Doctor planned to turn these into robots and then steal the Chaos Emeralds for world domination. So by implication, the Chaos Emeralds are at the North Star Islands now? I guess they just like to go on holiday now and again. Eventually, Fang met one of the island's natives, a shy, armoured girl called Trip, who serves the duo as a guide. After managing to capture several giant animals, Eggman paid Fangs and assigned the next task, finding the legendary Black Dragon. Say what we like about Eggman, he's not a fucking deadbeat. At the same time, the Doctor found out that Sonic and Tails were flying to the island, joined by Amy and Knuckles. The group landed on Bridge Island after chasing Fang, who just captured another giant animal. On their way, they defeated Fang and Eggman many times while collecting the Chaos Emeralds. When they were crossing Lagoon City, Trip was waiting there to activate a trapdoor on the heroes. However, the trap jams, and she ends up falling instead. Alone, she starts crying until she ends up saved by Amy, who took an underground passage before reuniting with the others. Later, Knuckles gets separated at the Golden Capital, where he finds a sealed vault. After breaking inside, he finds the last Chaos Emerald alongside a mural depicting the Black Dragon. Okay, hang on. I remember this, the Black Dragon. What was that? That was mentioned really early on. Yes, the Black Dragon attacked the North Star Islands, and a group of soldiers united and sealed the beast in the Black Onyx, with subsequent generations being tasked with guarding it. Well, I guess they didn't do a very good job. While celebrating after finding all 7 Chaos Emeralds, he gets knocked down by Fang, who steals the gems from him. Safety deposit box, man. Just saying. The group follows Fang to one of Eggman's facilities, and after losing a battle against the heroes, he drops the Chaos Emeralds. Trip manages to grab the stones and transform into her dragon form, knocking out Fang, and then getting introduced to Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. Is she in the dragon form going to have to defeat the Black Dragon? Did I just predict the ending? Eventually, the group infiltrates Eggman's Egg Fortress in space. Not the Death Egg, the new one. Egg Fortress in space. It's like the Egg Fortress, but in space. Where they fight his giant mech, the Big Egg. Okay, he's just running out of ideas at this point, isn't he? Meanwhile, Trip gets ambushed by Fang, who attacks her with an upgraded vehicle and a giant mech. Both villains are defeated, and they all escape in a working Eggmobile just in time, as the Egg Fortress starts to collapse. Well, I don't know what the Eggmobile looks like, but I'm guessing it has 6 seats. Back on the island, Trip rejoices with the forest critters and her new friends. The forest critters ain't got nothing better to do than hang around waiting to rejoice with someone. However, the celebration is cut short as a mysterious portal opens and the Black Dragon emerges from it. Sonic then transforms with the Chaos Emeralds to fight the beast, while the rest assist him by collecting rings. After a long battle, Trip is able to use the Black Onyx to seal the Black Dragon, and peace returns again in the North Star Islands. So she didn't turn into a dragon again? I thought that was foreshadowing. But that peace doesn't last for long, and what follows is the start of Sonic's modern era, but there's no way in hell I'm reading all of that right now. Well, that's what Eric wrote, but fortunately he happened to anticipate my feelings on this matter. I guess we're going to do another Sonic lore video that covers the modern era, on another occasion. I'm going to take a stab in the dark here and say Eggman gets defeated a lot. And that other thing where Sonic tries to get his leg over a human, and in the end she molests him. You know, that bit. If you enjoyed this lore read, you might be interested to know there's another brand new lore read currently only available on our Patreon page, this one on the Darksiders series. So if you'd like to see that, toddle along to patreon.com/secondwindgroup and maybe think about getting a subscription to help keep the channel going. Oh, and don't think we're going to eventually release all of these on YouTube anyway, and you can just wait. We only put this one out as a taster, you know, like they do with heroin.